What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Mama Shantae. And I'm here with a little story time for y'all. Yes, a little story time. I know it's not my usual, but we're going to try something different here. So, if y'all seen my short, I posted a short with my vanity all busted up. And unfortunately, my head is the reason why that vanity is all busted up. And yes, my baby father was the reason. He's the person who did such thing. I met him when I was about 14, going on 15. He was actually getting in trouble in office at school. And I initially didn't like him. Like, every time I seen him, he was with another girl on another different side of the campus, and that girl was friends with the girl he just was with, and I was just like, he seemed like trouble. I don't want no parts. I had a associate, I should say, who was dating him at the time, right? Nobody knew they was together. Like, I never seen them hold their hands. I never seen them kiss. I never seen them do anything, right? I never seen them do anything that would make me say that was his girlfriend. She was his boyfriend for sure. Nothing. But she did let us know that that was her boyfriend. Okay, whatever. So her boyfriend liked me. Every time I seen her boyfriend, he always was hey and sparking conversation with me. I was, entertained it a little bit, but I wasn't really paying attention. And then one day a girl had asked me, was I talking to him? I was like, no, I don't even know cuz like that. You know what I'm saying? So, make a long story short, me and him had clicked up after school one day. We smoked the devil's lettuce, and we was chilling. We exchanged numbers. We started talking and flirting, and I started skipping class and the whole nine. And then one day, his girlfriend slid me her notebook, and she was like, "Are you talking to Wookie Woo?" But I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "That's my man, like I told you that was my man, whoop whoop." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, no, I'm not talking to him." Like, I wasn't talking. I'm like, no, I'm not talking to him. I knew I should have left that girl boyfriend alone, child. But I'm like, no, I'm not talking to him, whatever, whoop whoop, right? So then a little time goes by, and he gets expelled from school, all this, that, and the third, right? We're going to fast forward. When I was 17, I got pregnant, and I ended up having a stillborn about 2 weeks after my birthday. That was our first big tragedy together. It was our first, really big experience together. But during that pregnancy is when I found out who he really was. And I was so young, so immature, so misguided or not guided, however you want to say it, that I didn't see it as like red flag, leave him alone. You like, okay, you lost the baby, now run. No, when I lost the baby, I just got more attached to him. He was the only person I wanted. I didn't want to be around nobody else. I thought the whole world was against me except for him, even though he was the one abusing me. It was the moment that the positive sign showed up on the pregnancy test, it was like, you're mine, you're under my control, you're going to do as I say, you ain't going to do nothing out of what I say, you're under my control. And if I objected, it was a problem. So that happened. I experienced the abuse. I ended up getting pregnant a year later with my now 11, almost 12-year-old daughter. And the abuse continued. It didn't stop. I ended up getting an apartment. He moved in with myself and our daughter, and it was just control and abuse. He was participating in extracurricular activities, and was out of his mind, and it was a lot of abuse. So this particular day where the vanity got broken, right? I can't remember verbatim what the argument was about, but I do know that I was downstairs. We stayed in an apartment complex, and we stayed on the second floor. And I do know that I was downstairs at my best friend's house with my daughter, talking, chopping it up, smoking, vibing, doing what girls do, whatever. Right? And he came and he knocked on the door and he was like, I need to talk to you. And I just knew, because we had been texting and having a bit of a rift, that I didn't want to talk to him. But he had asked my friend, he was like, can you keep, our baby for a minute? Can you watch her for a minute? I need to talk to her. So I'm like, trying to eyeball her, like, tell him no. But she was like, yeah, I'll watch her. So we went upstairs, and we go upstairs, and we begin to argue. And I'm really not trying to argue with him or whatever, so I'm walking away. Like, I'm walking away from him. I'm walking towards, we had a one bedroom. So there was the living room, the kitchen area, dining area, all in one place. And then you got our room, and then the bathroom, which the room was my daughter's room. And then the bathroom, right? So I'm walking towards my daughter's room, and I'm like moving stuff around. And he's like getting close to me, and I'm like feeling like, okay, he's gonna hit me. I need to like get somewhere where I can be protected, right? So I go into the bathroom. Follows me into the bathroom. We standing up having a disagreement. The bathroom, like literally the bathroom's like this area, right? So we arguing, we have a disagreement, whatever. He proceeds to tell me to sit down. He like, sit down. So I sit down on the toilet seat. Seats down. I sit down. He's chastising me like I'm a child. He's standing up over me. He's saying whatever it is he's saying. I'm getting irritated. I don't recall exactly what I said, but he didn't like it. And the next thing I knew, he had like hit me open hand, and it was just like out of nowhere. And I was sitting on the toilet, but he didn't hit me with the amount of force that he wanted to. Like, I seen his hand coming down, so I kind of like moved back a little bit. So when he hit me, he kind of just like tipped my face. And that wasn't what he wanted to do. So it was like he hit me with his open hand, and then because I didn't like cry or fall or whatever reaction he wanted me to have, I didn't have it. So then he proceeded to close fists, cold cock, just, I don't recall seeing his hand. I don't know which hand he used. I don't know which direction it came from. The next thing I remember was me waking up on the floor. There was water everywhere. There was, I guess you would call it ceramic, whatever the damn countertops made out of. There was stuff everywhere, and I was laid on the floor. My best friend was over me, like, oh my God, so I'm trying to figure out what happened. He had ran out the door at this point. My best friend ended up running back to me like, I heard, some commotion up there. I heard y'all arguing because I took the baby outside, let the baby play outside in the front, and I smoked a cigarette while she was playing, and I was kind of like trying to ear hustle to make sure everything was cool. And she was like, I heard, y'all having a disagreement. So when I heard the disagreement, and then she was like, then it got silent. Then the next thing I know, he's like darting out the door. And so she was like, when I seen him darting out the door, before he darted out the door, she had made her way up the stairs. Because like I said, she said she heard us arguing, then she didn't hear anything. So she was heading up the stairs, and as she was heading up the stairs, he took off running. So, and mind you, some of these things are clouded. I have a rare brain disease. I also have epilepsy. So some of these things are clouded, but I'm just going based off my memory. And from what I was told, right? So because when I was hit, I didn't remember being hit that second time. I do remember my head hitting the counter. Like, I don't remember how it happened, but I do remember the pain of it happening. But the next thing I knew, I woke up and I was on the floor and my friend was over me, and I'm like, what the hell? So that happened, and I know that when I came to, I was screaming. I remember distinctly, I was like screaming bloody murder, and I was holding my head, like screaming. And my friend, she was screaming, she was crying, she was on the phone with the police. Like, it was just like, it was a lot going on, right? And I'm like, where's my baby? And she's like, she's fine. I'm like, he don't got my baby. She's like, no, you don't got your baby. Like, she's fine, or whatever. I ended up going to the hospital, and I don't know if you guys can see because I do have makeup on, but this is not hair. This is the scar. This was completely open. Like, my eyebrow was like that. Like, it was open. You could see flesh, meat, I guess you would say. All the insides of my eyebrow you can see, right? It was horrible. Like, it was traumatizing, and you would think that, like, a situation like this, it would be like, oh, you're never gonna go back to him. I ended up having 2 more kids by him. Like, I would say, like, being in an abusive relationship, like, it strips away your self-confidence. And if you never got a chance to even build self-confidence, like, I was 14 when I met him. I was really naive, and you know what I'm saying? We were young, and, like, he was my first love in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, my first real boyfriend. Like, I've had little boyfriends, but this is, like, my first real relationship. I've introduced him to my parents, you know, all these different things. So I just felt like this is the guy, you know, that I'm supposed to be with. Like, we lost a baby together. We have to stay together forever because we've been through this tragedy, you know what I'm saying? And we made a pact when we were in high school to have all of our children with each other. So, I guess you was kind of said that I felt like obligated to be, I just felt like I could fix it. We would fix it. I could fix him, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I just need to shut my mouth sometimes, whatever the case may be, but this will pass. Like, this will pass. Nothing, even this, gave me the, like, leave him forever, run, which, in hindsight, like, when I think back and I'm like, that's crazy work, because 31-year-old me could never, like, you put your hands on me, it's a wrap for you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even gonna do that. But yeah, so that's how the vanity was broken. I lied to the hospital when I got there. I don't even remember what lie I made up, but I made up some type of lie. They knew that I was lying because they had the police come up there and talk to me, and was asking me if I wanted to press charges on the person who did it to me, and I was like, nobody did it. Like, I forgot what story I made up, but I made up a story, and I had to hide my scar for a long time. Like, I remember my mom came and got me, and we went to, like, Target. I got makeup on my lash. I'm just not saying that. We went to, like, Target or something. My mom came and got me, and I remember I kept doing this, and I kept, like, I wore a lot of weaves then, so I, you know, I always had, like, a bang coming down or something, a swoop. Like, you was not gonna see that scar. And once it had finally hit, well, because my stitches were blue. They were bright ass blue too, so, like, y'all can see the scar now because I didn't move the makeup out the way and move my hair out the way. So, like, from here, because it was the knot was down here, so from here to about it goes right here was stitched, and it was blue, so you couldn't not see them. Like, there was, when they first did it, there was a little bit of, like, blood around it, so it kind of got dark. Like, they told me to wait to clean that area. They cleaned it, they stitched it, then they cleaned it again. They put this little, like, bandage on it, and they was like, it's gonna bleed, we want you to take this off. Once you don't see, like, the blood seeping through anymore, we want you to take this off. But and then they were saying, like, the stitches, they kind of slide out on their own. You might have to pull one out. You can come to your primary, or, you know, come in and we'll remove the stitches, but they usually just kind of slide out. They dissolve and slide out. Okay, so they're giving me all the instructions or whatever, right? So at first, when I first had it or whatever, when I took the little strip bandage off of it, because there was blood that was dried, it made the sutures look black. So it kind of like blended in with my eyebrow a little bit. I was able to like brush my eyebrow hair a little bit up. I was able to hide it a little bit better, especially when my hair was black. So I was able to hide it a little bit better. But when I cleaned it and I seen that they were bright blue, I'm like, whoa. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to hide this, but I hid it from my mother. I hid it from anybody who didn't know what had happened. I hid it. I was so badly trying to not only just save him, but save myself the embarrassment that I told you so's, that you need to leave him, all of these different things. And so many things transpired after that, from restraining orders to court dates, just, absent threats, just a whole bunch of stuff transpired. And I tell people, like, in my situation, I had always been abused in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily like physically somebody beating on me or anything like that, but as far as like being SA'd, that was something normal to me. So like him putting his hands on me didn't seem abnormal until it did. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't the first time that I had gotten hurt. That was just the first time that I had to go to the hospital. Like, there was no way around it. Right after I had lost, her name is Sky. Right after I had lost Sky, which was in 2011, in July, I want to say a couple months after that, if that long. No, yes, it was a couple months after that, because it was near Christmas time. I remember because when the police came, because somebody called the police that heard us arguing, really heard the things that he was saying to me and the things that he was doing to me, they called the police. And I remember them saying, like, it's Christmas Eve, like, I really don't want to be out here doing this. So that's how I remember it was around Christmas time. Well, right after they had left, or whatever the case may be, we were at his sister's house, who also stayed in the apartment complex. This was before I had my now 11-year-old. This was before that. And this was a little bit after I had my first child, Sky, which was the stillborn. So it was, I had Sky in July, and this happened in December. So about 5 months later, we were getting into a disagreement because he was like dating other girls and sleeping with other girls and doing all this and that and the third, but we were still in a relationship. Like, I didn't understand that. And we had just lost our baby, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, to me, like, why are you with other females? Why are you giving other females attention and love when I'm the one who needs it? You know what I'm saying? Like, we had our baby together. I had this ideology, like, you're my baby daddy. It was crazy, right? So we arguing or whatever. It was at nighttime. We're outside of his sister's door. We're arguing, and he's not the type of person that likes to get loud. Like, he doesn't get loud. He's one of those real soft talkers, and silent. But so I'm starting to raise my voice though, because I'm mad, right? So we get into it, whatever. And next thing I know, closed fists. It seemed like from the ground up, he reached down, punched me in my eye, and my eye swelled over. I want to say it was the same eye, which is my left eye. I want to say it's the same eye, because I remember when I had to hide it from my grandmother, my great-grandmother. I was living with her. I remember I had a black hoodie and I was going like this. I didn't do it with this hand because I knew it would be too obvious. So I was just going like this, And I do remember because when I sat in the car with my really good friend at the time, and the eye that was hurt was on her side. So I do remember it was my left eye, and it was swollen completely shut. As soon as he hit me, it was like I was blind. I felt like I was blind. My eye just swelled over instantly. And that was the first time I had ever seen him have some type of immediate remorse. Like, he was immediately like, oh my God. But then he flipped the switch like super quick and was like, see what you made me do? See what you made me do? His sister opened the door. I know she saw my face. And she was like, y'all can't be doing this out here. Y'all gonna come in the house or go about your business. So, we're in the house, spent the night with them, and we slept on the sister's floor, spent the night, and woke up the next morning, and it was time to take his nephew to school, which we weren't taking him to school, but his sister was taking him to school, and I had to hide my face. You know what I'm saying? And look at my computer, y'all. I'm on an iMac, y'all. Every time I do anything, if I do this, it ain't gonna do it because I'm saying something, it ain't gonna do it. But if I do this, oh yeah, see, it pops up something. If I do this, it's a celebration. I love that because it kind of like distracts me a little bit. And if it seems like I'm like monotone about it, or like I seem like I don't really care about it, it's just like it's a lot for me to remember. I've had a lot of trauma to my head, so it's like a lot for me to remember. I remember when I had to testify against him, which that's another story for another story time. But when that situation happened and they were reading back some of like police reports and things, I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't remember. Like, if that's what was said, then that's what happened. I don't know though. So they were like, well, we're gonna ask you about these incidents when you get on the stand. And I'm like, to be honest, I really don't know. And at the time, I wasn't diagnosed with a brain disease or anything. I was actually pregnant with our third child, second living. So I really couldn't recall. I didn't know some of the instances they were saying. I just couldn't remember what happened. And I was like, damn. And then they were showing me pictures where they had to take pictures of certain instances where they came out, and there was something that had happened. There was some violence involved. They had to take pictures of me, and I was like, man, I do not remember that. So there were a lot of instances that I do not remember. But like I said, the first time he ever put his hands on me, I was pregnant, and only a couple weeks pregnant with our very first child. He abused me the entire pregnancy, and I only went 5.5 months. I went 22 weeks, and then I gave birth to her, and she passed away. And then, we're going to just pause it right there because it's getting a little bit emotional for me, and that's not where I want to go. I don't want to dig back into that emotion, but I just wanted to tell the story, just to get my story out there, just in case no one ever knows, and it might help somebody. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. Hopefully you stick with me through this whole video. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I'm just telling you, ladies, gentlemen, because it happens to men too, if somebody put their hands on you, they don't love you in no type of way. No type of way. If somebody has to abuse you, they don't love you. No type of way. Whether it's mental, physical, actual, any of that, like, gone. Gone. Like, you don't have to deal with that. You don't have to deal with that. But like I said, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And have a good one. Until next time.